Hello and welcome. It's Bio here. So, we are back with part two of why the original 2006 Dead Rising is better than the 2024 Deluxe Remaster. So, this is actually the 2024 Deluxe Remaster. And I think the original one's better in a lot of ways, and you're about to find out. And I'm going to actually show you. Whoa, hang on a second here. Hey, you know what? Why not? We'll start off with this part anyway. So we got 3 bullets in the pistol, but we'll go back to the other part. I'm surprised it actually started right here. So, anyways, pop. Right. Well, that wasn't even a headshot. That's a headshot, but as you can see, there's just that little bit of blood. Like, really? Now, if you pop their head off like that, there is more blood, but it's still, I don't think it's still quite as much as the original version. Now, if you guys want to go back and forth and check it out to see, you can. And then, like, leave it down in the comments what you think. Because I don't know. I just don't think that they're... I think even the original one, just with your normal freaking headshot with a pistol, still does, more. You know what I mean? Like, more blood. But let me pick up this pistol here. So... Dang it. Yeah, I know. Now, when her head obviously explodes like that, it does seem kind of like there's a little bit more at first, but, I mean, really? That's it? Yeah, I think the other one might still have a little bit more than what this one does. And, oh yeah, that's one thing I wanted to mention, too. So one thing that this one is actually better on is the actual distance of which you can shoot like a zombie. So like that one down there. Actually, is it not even letting me hit it with the pistol? Maybe you have to have a sniper? I don't know. Let me scoot back again. Yeah, because I was thinking, if I can remember correctly. Well, I guess not. I was gonna say the distance that you can shoot, but heck, oh yeah, I just hit him. Hit one of them. There we go. Yeah. So I think it does increase the distance where the bullets will actually hit the zombies. On the Deluxe Remaster, because on the original one, it's like it's got to be within a certain distance. Like, I think it's like maybe right here it might hit on the original one. But as you can see, slide does not come back. No bullet shells, which I think is kind of very odd. Now, I'll show you with the SMG if it's, popped back in over there, but let's go over here real quick so I can show you what I was talking about with the excavator. And then real quick, this is what she looks like on this one, and she don't really have any, like, I think she showed just a little bit more on the other one, but that's what you get. You don't get no erotica, which I think is kind of stupid why you would remove that, because you're afraid of people just kind of complaining about it. Like, who gives a crap? Don't change the original game. If you're going to change the original game, don't change it in that sense. Change it, like, make it have better graphics. Make it play better, you know what I mean? But you could have kept it the same as it originally was. You didn't have to, like, mess with, like, removing certain things and, screwing up the game partially. Okay, so It's just, that doesn't seem as dramatic for one, but if you look at the blood when it lands, look at it almost instantly disappear. Like, you can't really have a line. You know what I mean? You can't have like a line of blood. I mean, look at that. That's... I mean, it just disappears too quick to really have a line of blood. I mean, sure. Does it consistently land more? Yeah, maybe. But, you know, it does stop actually landing at certain points too. Like, here, let's try to do a circle here. You can see where some of it isn't landing. Just because I'm going in a circle. And it's like, wait, what? And, you can't even make a circle, or even a half a circle. Look at that. I mean, I think that sucks, especially considering that if they had it the way they had it before, they could have just made it to where it just, you know, considering it's a next-gen only title, they could have made it where it just lands and so much more. You can make like a longer line with it, you know? Like it would have just made more sense. But they decided to do it this way, which is kind of odd. It's an odd choice considering that it's, you know, a next-gen only title. So it's a very odd choice, I think. And as you can see, whenever I cut any of the heads off, you'll see where it's like there's no really, there's just no blood squirt out of their neck. See? Nothing. And, yeah, see? Nothing. And then, even if you take a shotgun, because some people might be like, well, maybe it only works with a shotgun. Okay, well. You seen where I could do it with a pistol? I mean, on here at least, not the original one. Because the original one, it didn't actually blow their head off. But, you know, I think that even when it comes to this, I don't know, I like the sound on the original one too, better. I think they did a better job with the sound on the original one. Oh, crap. Come on. Come on. Come on in here, fellas. And ladies. Okay, so, real quick. No shotgun shells. Nothing. No shotgun shells. Which is, you know, obviously very strange. Now, see, as you pop their head off like that, you'll see, but you can see where it's like the neck just really isn't doing what it did on the other one, you know what I mean? Like on the original. And look at how close that zombie is. No blood in the well when I shot him like that. Come on now. Really? That's kind of wild. Being that close to the wall and shooting him and like just the blood didn't want to land. It's like, okay, why didn't it land on the wall like it does on the original? I mean, and I mean, because you can't get much closer than that. I mean, that freaking thing was almost on the wall, you know? Now, it's, if I use like, yeah, see, it just seems weird. But yeah, you see what I'm saying? No, it's kind of like, wait a minute. Let's try to get one like really close to the wall again. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Come on now. Nothing? Wall's clean as a whistle. Like, really? Now, I think it might work on certain walls, but obviously these ones don't, and certain other ones don't. which I'll actually show you here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, it's super weird. It's like they made the game look better while dumbing down a lot of stuff too. And I don't think there's any. Is there any SMGs in here? I don't think so. I think it's just all handguns and stuff. Yeah, it's just pretty much all handguns and rifles. Anyways, let's go ahead and go. I mean, let me try something here. Yeah, see, that doesn't even that you would think that would, you know, there'd be blood kind of squirting out of the neck hole. But I don't know, it's just the way they have it, I don't think it's quite as good. I mean, I think with this game, the Deluxe Remaster, I think they make the game feel more like a real world. Like you know, more so than the original. And then also, like, here's what I was talking about when you come outside. Like, you know, it's just so dark, even with all the lights out. It's just, like, certain spots are just almost black. Which is super weird, because it's like, I don't know, I think it's just somewhat inconsistent, you know what I mean? And I know even in real life you could have light in a room and still have dark areas, but I mean, come on. You can't tell me this is not inconsistent. I mean, and then on some TVs and stuff, it'll just be so black. But yeah, like right here, you can actually hear him talking. So let's go back in here. And let's look at a couple things before we try to go get the SMG, if it's respawned yet. So it does have this, which looks like a whale actually. It has that they added, and then there's like the gate I was telling you about that they added. It kind of looks like, you know, they just kind of busted through. I believe you can still do this. Let me... Yeah, but see, there is a skillet that's actually missing that just adds the detail to the original that doesn't seem to be on here. But it does still get red. I mean, yeah, it still does that. I mean, that looks better graphically, but I don't know. A lot of the stuff I think they just kind of took out, like some of the details they took out, and it's kind of like, why? You know, but when you come in here, like they added some of this stuff, you know, it's like, okay, I like this. That seems, you know, just as legit as even the original did, but, you know, it just seems like, you know, with the extra pillars and different things in here, just the details, you know, that they added, but, you know, even though they added those details, it doesn't necessarily make the game better, you know? Yeah, there we go. So some of the blood, yeah, you can get blood to land in there.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah, I gotta go this way. Cause I do want to show you guys about the thing I was talking about. Okay, with the SMG also. Okay, so here's the SMG. As you can see, no bullet shells. just makes it feel so weird. It's like, so how are the bullets exactly leaving the weapon? The bullet shells, you know what I mean? Like, something's up with that, you know? And then we'll go over to the one spot, and then we'll probably end this one. To show you, like, the reflection type of thing. So, if you go into... Here, we'll go to the bathroom over here real quick. Because, like I said, they kept some certain resolutions, or not resolutions, but some certain reflections, but sort of did away with most of them. So the ones in the bathrooms are still here, but this will be a quicker way of getting over there, actually. You could, yeah, so they kept the ones in the bathrooms. I think those are pretty much the only ones they kept, to be honest. So we'll go over this way. Now, like I said, they added more details in the sense of like stuff to the world, and you know, some little things with like the characters. Obviously, with the graphics, they make the characters look a lot better. But actual details, like on the original one, like his eyes don't blink, and on this one they do. His hair doesn't move on the original one, which on here it does. So, like if you're watching a cutscene or something where he's got like the wind or something in his hair, you could see it actually blowing. Now, lighting-wise, I do think that this one is better in like inside, but when it comes to the outside, it's sort of, I don't know. I just feel like it's more inconsistent, you know. But yeah, as you can tell, this is what I was talking about with the like the recording. Okay, so let's go over here. And you know, I think they may or may not have added zombies. I could be wrong, but there's a possibility. So this is the gym now, right? So it's like, lighting-wise, I think it's better, but no mirror, really? Like, you know, to me that's weird because there's a lot of bodybuilders and stuff that do look into the mirror. So to just sort of take that out, you know, it just seems odd. You know, to me, it just seems really freaking odd. Especially considering it's like, wait a minute, if this is a next-gen only game, and this, as powerful as these systems are, they could have easily handled all of that. And if they didn't, if they wanted to make it, you know, like a 30 and 60 FPS game, that would have been perfectly fine. You know, a 30 FPS, would you get the high quality where you get like, you know, all of the reflections and this, that, and the other, you know. I think it would have been just fine, but I just think the way they did it, it kind of... I mean... It just... I don't know. But it does look better. But you know something else, though? That seriously confuses me? On the back of the case of this one, it actually says Unity Technologies, right? But yet it says that they made it with the RE engine. It's like, wait a minute, but am I missing something here? Because that just seems weird to have Unity in it. Now, unless it's like a different Unity, I don't know. Because that's the only Unity I know of. But yeah, I mean, if you don't use the guns, then you might be able to just kind of get the original experience from that. But obviously, since guns is a part of it, you know. But some people think that there's more blood and stuff in here, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, the original one, you can... I mean, don't get me wrong, the bodies I don't think disappears fast on this one. But, I don't know, I just think they could have kept all of the details in it and still made a better game than what it might have been previously, but I don't know, it's just hard to... It's hard to really call it a deluxe remaster, because the only thing that's deluxe about it is just the graphics and, you know, like little things around the world that makes it feel more, you know, believable. And then, like, even when you go outside and there's actual grass on here, which on the other one it's sort of mostly just texture. But, you know, I don't know, it's just some of the sounds and some of the original way they had it just work better than what it does on here. It almost somewhat reminds me... Wow. The power went out. I wasn't expecting that. That's... See, I don't know if it was like that in the original one. I mean, I know that, you know, it did get dark and stuff, but... anyways, though, so... Yeah, I mean... There's a lot of stuff I like about this one, like the graphics. You know, just certain things I like about this one better than the original one, but there's a lot of stuff I really prefer on the original over the Deluxe Remaster. So I would say if you're like me and you're a big fan of both, or, you know, if you're just a big fan of the first Dead Rising period, get both of them. I wouldn't just get one or the other. I would get both, you know. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, being able to play the original Dead Rising with way better graphics is nice. But, you know, if you want that, like, original feel, if you want that, you know, the guns and stuff, you know, go with the original, you know what I mean? It's like, there's just, even blood-wise, I think the original one's better, but, yeah, I don't know, I feel like they took out a lot of stuff, but they added a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? And I feel like they didn't have to take out a lot of that stuff if they were afraid of, you know, a bunch of crybabies or something. It's like, don't worry about it, because you're going to still have tons and tons of people. Because I prefer, like, you know, if the original version is uncensored, I want the remaster or remake uncensored too. You know, I mean, even with, like, the Destroy All Humans games with the remakes. I have the first remake and the second remake, and they're both the PS4 versions. And, you know, I prefer those, you know, not... I do prefer them over the original ones, but they didn't censor anything. They didn't change something to censor it like they did with this, you know? So they even put like a warning at the beginning of the game, like, hey, you know, there's some stuff in here that, you know, like, if you're too sensitive to, or, you know, if you're more or less a big freaking crybaby about little things, and you know, getting your feelings hurt because, you know, ooh, like on Dead Rising, ooh, you could take an erotica photo. Well, I mean, you don't think they'd be doing stuff like that in real life? I mean, really? You honestly think that if there was a zombie apocalypse, it's even in some of the movies, you know? It's even in some zombie movies too. It's like, it's just something that people would most likely do one way or another, just because it's like, you know, it's a freaking zombie apocalypse. So, you know, like say if, you know, there was people in real life and there was an actual zombie apocalypse or something, if they wanted to like have contests or something, I mean, there's so many different ones they could do, but the point is why take something like that out? I mean, I know what they said, because I watched where they were talking about, we just feel like, no, you were just scared that people would cry about it. That's the real truth behind it. Like, come on. Really? So, you know, for me, it's like, if they're gonna cry about it, let them freaking cry about it. Like, what made Dead Rising Dead Rising? You don't just change that. You know what I mean? Because when you go changing it and dumbing it down and toning it down, and just, you know, making it better so less people will cry about certain things, because, you know, in 2006, you know, taking a picture on here and it being erotica, that was fine, but now it's like, oh no, you can't do that without somebody crying about it. No, and that's what they were afraid of. It ain't what they actually stated that is the truth. It is the fact that they were scared that so many people would cry about it. You know, that's why they toned a lot of the game down and certain things about the game down, because it's like they were just afraid that people were going to cry about it. Like, even at difficulty, like, oh, well, let's make it a little bit easier, a lot easier, so people don't cry about it. Like, you do understand it says mature 17 on up for a reason, right? It doesn't say for C, 0 and up. 0 being, you know, not even born, but I mean, let's just say, you know, 1 day to like, you know, a couple years old, right? It doesn't say that. There's a reason why it doesn't say, you know, like E for everybody, you know, 1 and up, you know what I mean? There's a reason why it says mature 17, not something like that, you know? So, it's like they know what they're buying. You don't have to dumb it down. You don't have to take things out. You don't have to tone it down in any way, just because of the fact that you get people that want to cry about certain things. Let them cry. Don't ruin the game because you're afraid of them crying about something. I mean, you somewhat ruined this game by toning it down and dumbing it down. I mean, I still prefer the original one over this one. You know, for multiple reasons. I just have this one because it's like, well, graphics are a lot better, and, you know, if I just want to, you know, have something that's got like better graphics, zombie-wise, I don't like a lot of the other zombie games because they're not real zombie games. You know what I mean? Like, most of them, the zombies run. Most of them's got a bunch of crazy mutated special effected or this, that, or the other. You know, some crazy bullcrap going on. You know, I just want the frickin', you know, dumb zombies that walk. You know, the Shaun of the Dead zombies, the George A. Romero zombies, the frickin', you know, the dumb zombies that just sit there and walk. I mean, because, you know, something that most people may not even know, and one of the reasons why I prefer like the zombie games that are like this where they actually walk is because, well, it is possible that if it was a real zombie like in real life, they could walk, but they could not run because their legs would just snap. So, it's like, you know what I mean? So it's sort of one of those things where it's like, but, original zombies are just dumb walking zombies, it's like, it's this. And I don't mind like the red eyes in the nighttime where they sort of, get angrier or something and obviously get more aggressive, but because that definitely beats all the special infected and this, that, and the other. Now, another thing about the Dead Rising games, at least the first one, you don't have to buy the second one. You don't have to buy the third one. Now, if you do want to buy the fourth one, that's a choice. But, I'm not sure that I would buy the fourth one if you have the Deluxe Remaster because you're going from the first to the fourth one, which is very odd going from a game that looks like this versus a game that looks like that. I mean, it still looks good. Looks better than, the first Dead Rising, but it still doesn't look as good as this, you know what I mean? So it's sort of, you go from the first one looking like this to the fourth one, it just doesn't graphically look as good, you know what I mean? So, you get that weird feeling, but if you do have the original Dead Rising, even if it's like the PS4 or Xbox One version, hey, I'd say get the first one and the fourth one, and the reason why is because you don't have to get any of the other ones in between because, well, the first one and the fourth one are the ones that are connected if you want to play with Frank West. Now, the second one you play as Chuck Green, and then the third one you play as Nick. You play as Nick, which is a mechanic. So, the second and third one really aren't. The second and third one are connected because of Chuck Green being in it and his daughter still being in it, but not as playable characters technically. But they are in it, so it is somewhat connected. But the first one isn't connected to either one of those. And it is connected to the fourth one. So if you are a Frank West fan, you don't have to worry about the fact that, Dead Rising 3 is not on PS4 or PS5, I mean, which is still kind of weird to this day, because they do have Dead Rising 2, and Dead Rising 4. Which makes absolutely no sense to not, why not have Dead Rising 3 on there? At least people that are getting Dead Rising 2 will, you know what I mean? It's like, because it is partially connected with 3. So, it's kind of odd how they did that, but hey, whatever. And some people might be like, well, 3 is only exclusive to Xbox and things. Yeah, but so is the original Dead Rising. So is Dead Rising 4. They were all, exclusive to Xbox. So, I mean, I'm just saying. But Capcom decided they wanted to put it on like PS4 and everything. So, I mean, I thank them for doing that because I'm a huge fan of the first Dead Rising. And, Dead Rising 4, yeah, they kind of changed it a little bit, but it's still a really good game. Even if they changed it a bit, it is still really good. So, I think that's going to do it for this one. If you guys did enjoy this one, please give it a big fat thumbs up. Maybe subscribe. If you do, please turn your post notifications on. Make sure to set them all off. Thanks for watching. Have a great and blessed night, and I'll catch you later.